It is said that clubs do not make big deals in the winter transfer window, and there is an objective reason for that. Club owners do not want to lose their best players in the middle of the season because it is difficult to find a substitute for them and there is very little time for that. Nevertheless, every new year the top European championships continue to beat transfer records. Today we want to discuss 5 transfers of this window, which according to football experts raise big questions in terms of expediency and benefits for the club. You're watching Football Geeks. Do not forget to click the subscribe button and support our channel. Let's kick off! Number 5. Brahim Diaz. Manchester City fought for their young talent till the bitter end. Brahim quickly progressed in the reserve team of the Citizens, and Guardiola even began to gradually engage the player in the cup matches. Of course, Diaz never dreamed of ousting someone from the city during the season, especially from the midfield. Perhaps the situation prompted him to immediately accept the offer of Real Madrid, although he personally justified his decision in the style of all Royal Club newcomers. "I've always dreamed of playing." Well, we've heard these words many times. With no doubts, we agree that Diaz is a promising talent, but he is currently below the level of players that can power up Real Madrid. And if we take into account 17 million for the player of the Man City reserve team, then this transfer looks even stranger. Number 4. Alvaro Murata. We understood the logic of the Atletico Madrid bosses when they gave the green light to Alvaro Morata's transfer. The Colchoneros are still fighting for the title in Spain, while the playoff stages of the Champions League are just around the corner. Given the long-term entry of Diego Costa and his performance this season, the whole load of attacking actions lay on the shoulders of Antoine Griezmann. In order to somehow help the current world champion, Simeone immediately asked the club management to send all their forces to invite the struggling Morata. Despite some pretty strong arguments in favor of this move, we still predict big problems for Alvaro. Atletico Madrid, represented by the head coach Diego Simeone, is probably the best team in Europe in terms of keeping the score. Every Atletico player delves in this philosophy, and even forwards, who in typical teams can enjoy a relative freedom of action. Obviously, Diego and Antoine have their roles strictly distributed. The first concentrates on the opponent's pressure on himself, while the second uses free space and attacks the gates. To control both forwards seems almost like an impossible mission. That is, under the current lineup played by Simeone, Murata should replace Costa, should not forget about the teamwork, and at the same time score like Diego in the best years. Though we still believe that Atletico's coaching staff is cunning, and they simply haven't found another option for the striker. But they're not to blame, because signing the top forward in the winter transfer window is the unreal task for any club. Number 3. Dominik Solanki. Dominik Solanki did not find a place for himself at Liverpool. Well, to be honest, he has found it on the bench. Spending a year and a half at Anfield, the young striker scored just 1 goal and gave 1 assist in 21 matches. This season, Dominik ceased to appear on the field at all, and with the opening of the winter transfer window, he immediately left the club. Chelsea's graduate attracted interest of several middle peasants of the Premier League, but Bournemouth has been more persistent and decided to throw 21 million euros at once. As in the case of Brahim Diaz, it was the price tag that greatly influenced our decision to include Dominik in this episode. Earlier, we made the assumption that with the purchase of Solanki, Bournemouth was securing their squad depth due to emerging Callum Wilson's departure, but the latter stayed at the club, while recently the Cherries have shown that they can easily hammer 4 goals past the Chelsea defense, playing without a classic striker in the lineup. We do believe that Dominik will experience serious problems while competing with Wilson. Number 2. Leandro Paredes. Leandro Paredes had 1 foot in Chelsea, who was rumored to have agreed the Argentinian transfer for 30 million euros. But suddenly, the Eiffel Tower glistened on the horizon, and the Russian club Zenit hit the brakes in their negotiations with the Londoners. It was a reasonable decision, given the amount one can bargain with PSG. Leandro was bought from Roma exclusively for Roberto Mancini, who headed Zenit in the summer of 2017. The level of the Russian championship did not contribute to further growth of the player, and after Mancini's dismissal, Paredes frankly relaxed, which was repeatedly noted by local journalists. We congratulate Zenit on the great deal, but can such a demotivated player quickly get in shape after a middle-season move into the French championship? As a result, Paredes and the Parisians, together with 47 million euros, get a prestigious second place in our top. Number 1. Christian Pulisic. Unfortunately, in the past few years, Chelsea has become famous for costly transfers that have not justified themselves. Remember only the galactic 20 million for the defender Abdulrahman Baba. We do not doubt the talent of Christian Pulisic. Of course, this is one of the most promising young players in the world, but was it worth to pay that kind of money for an immature player who has no experience in the toughest Premier League? In addition, Pulisic is not even considered a full-fledged starting 11 player in Borussia Dortmund, as he's currently losing the competition to phenomenal Jadon Sancho. The American midfielder signed a contract with Chelsea on January 2nd and was immediately given back to Dortmund for a semi-annual loan. In the next 6 matches after the loan agreement, Pulisic made 1 start appearance and 3 times was used as a substitute. In what form will the American arrive to Chelsea next summer if such dynamics of performance continue? What do you think about the prospects of the above-mentioned players? Maybe we're too critical and you know more suitable candidates for this top. Share your thoughts in the comments and do not forget to subscribe to Football Geeks because new episodes are on their way.